As a content creator, have you ever struggled to come up with new ideas for your videos or articles? Have you ever hit writer's block and couldn't figure out what to say next? Or maybe you feel like there aren't enough hours in a day and you wish you had an assistant to manage the workload and finally go after those bigger goals you've been putting off for so long. Well, today I'm going to introduce you to a tool that can help you overcome these challenges and save you a ton of time. It's called ChatGPT. Ready? Let's do this. Hi, my lovely people, it's Natalia and welcome back to my channel where I help you create better content and grow on social media. In today's video, you'll learn exactly how to use ChatGPT as a content creator to help you create faster, eliminate any friction points, and save time on those pesky little tasks you wish you didn't have to do. Let me start by quickly explaining what ChatGPT actually is. If you've not heard of it yet, it's basically an artificial intelligence language model trained on a huge amounts of data that you can have full conversations with, almost as if you're talking to your own super smart personal assistant. This means it can help you sort out some of the content creation tasks much more efficiently and become a source of inspiration, especially when you're feeling stuck. And this is the perfect segue to the first super helpful use case for ChatGPT as a content creator, brainstorming. Listen, I can admit that being a content creator sometimes feels super lonely. Don't get me wrong, it's so interesting, you get challenged all the time, and it's a lifestyle I wouldn't change for anything. But a lot of the time, it's just me working with a laptop for literally days on end. What ends up happening is that sometimes I just get caught up in a routine, which leaves me feeling completely uninspired. I then think back to the days of working in a social media agency where we would always be able to bounce ideas off of each other and quickly get our creative juices going. Luckily, with ChatGPT, I don't have to be surrounded by people to get unstuck. In the most basic form, you can just ask ChatGPT to come up with some ideas for you. Let's see what it generates for a new chat. And in here, I'm just going to prompt it to generate 10 TikTok content ideas for a yoga instructor. Now, that's all right, but as you can see, what it generates is pretty basic. This is where the key wisdom point about ChatGPT lies. The results you get are only as good as your prompts. That's why you need to be as specific as possible, and that means providing ChatGPT with more than just the basics. Let's try to generate some more distinctive ideas by feeding the model our content pillars as a topic. We've got audience specifics, style or tone, and the overall marketing goal for our posting. If you need help figuring all these out, I highly recommend you watch this video next to build your own marketing strategy step by step. Okay, here's the prompt that I'll use here. And notice that I've also added some crucial information like the platform we're creating content for and a note about a mixture of formats which gives the model even more pieces to the puzzle and helps it understand our needs better. You can see that the results it generates are much more targeted and look better than the generic stuff that came out the first time. Definitely something that we can start working with, right? What I like to do at this point is to go even deeper and ask ChatGPT about a particular idea that it gave me. Say you're intrigued by one of the answers and you want to explore the subject deeper. Just ask the model to expand on the idea or generate 10 more from the same point. This is one of the techniques I've found really useful because it allows me to squeeze the juice to the last drop and make the brainstorming super broad. The best way I've found to brainstorm with ChatGPT is to keep digging, keep adding on useful information, and course correct if the model is strained too far, especially when it comes to your specific audience. It kind of feels like it's in the nature of AI to lose sight of the initial conditions in the hopes of providing you with even more distinctive information, but it's also super easy to rein it in and direct the creativity towards a different path. Something that I really have to mention here is that it's definitely not the only method to brainstorm with ChatGPT, and I encourage you to experiment with different prompts and approaches to see what works for you and your audience. For example, instead of generating lists of ideas, you can ask the model to create a full content calendar filled with ideas already and with a specified frequency of posting. A completely different approach, but one that works really great too. All right, the brainstorming session is done. We've got our bank of ideas, but ideas are cheap and execution is everything. So let's move on to tip number 2, SEO-optimized content writing. You know what I constantly hear from content creators and small business owners? It's how much they hate writing. It doesn't matter if it's TikTok captions, Instagram captions, YouTube scripts, blog posts, writing seems to be one of the biggest pain points creators have. And by the way, if you agree or disagree, drop me a comment down below. I want to know which side you lean towards. Now, this is where ChatGPT can really alleviate that pain for you and make you feel more empowered to create effective copy. And where does it often start? With a click-worthy title, of course. Just like with brainstorming, if you provide the model with enough context, it can generate a bunch of engaging titles, which you can use as the basis for your content. Say we want to write a blog post on asanas for lower back pain. Let's see what ChatGPT can suggest here. If you don't like what it gives you, just ask for more. And if you're then still not satisfied, you can do something like suggest a format. If you need something shorter for YouTube, you can limit the character count. And if you want to make sure it's going to rank for a specific keyword, you can then ask ChatGPT for those important keywords, choose one, and feed it back to the model. Okay, let's move on to the actual content writing part. Here, I recommend you actually supply more information so that the copy is tailored to your needs. You can use all the previous categories I've mentioned, like audience, goal, tone, etc., but you can also include your key talking points. With this example, it can be a list of specific asanas or even a short outline of what you want to mention for each of them too. Apart from this, make sure to provide ChatGPT with a list of keywords you want to target in this post. This way, the content it gives you will be much better optimized in terms of SEO. My prompt here will be to write a 2,500 word blog post titled 5 Best Beginner Asanas for Lower Back Pain. By the way, notice that I'm staying in the same chat and not starting new conversations with each prompt. The rule is to keep the conversation flowing in one chat for one general project you're working on so that all the information that you've fed it is retained. I've asked for titles and now we're asking for the blog post, which means ChatGPT should already know what audience this piece of content is intended for. Sometimes you'll see hiccups like this when ChatGPT is generating an outline instead of an actual post, but don't be discouraged, just correct it with a prompt and it will do what you ask of it. If you ever get to a point where it stopped generating, just click this button right here to continue generating or simply prompt it to keep going. Once you've got your piece of content ready, you can ask for summaries, for meta descriptions, corresponding newsletters, or even suggestions for micro content created from that one piece, which you can further repurpose on different platforms, for example, as an informative Instagram carousel. What I also love to do is to ask for tips on improving SEO, as mentioned before, ask for elements of storytelling to be included, or suggestions on how I can make the post better by infusing it with stories. I've shown you how to create a blog post, but this works for all the different formats from speeches and presentations through social media captions, all the way to YouTube scripts and other larger pieces of content. Before we move on, I feel like this is a good place to give you a big disclaimer. AI is not all-knowing. It does make mistakes sometimes, and big ones at that, and it can potentially generate repetitive content. All of these points come down to this: do your due diligence. Fact check, do research, and don't use the scripts created completely unchanged. Instead of just grabbing what ChatGPT generates, infuse the text with your own personality. You can make it right with your own style when you provide samples of the previous content you created, but that's not going to be great if it's not filled with your ideas, your experience, and colored with your own insights. Just something to keep in mind when using AI in general. All right, we're now at point number 3, social media engagement. I always talk about how building genuine connections online is key to an impactful brand. A big part of it is, of course, engaging with your audience and other creators on social media, not just in the form of this passive engagement, just by replying to comments and DMs, but actually being proactive and consistently connecting with communities by leaving authentic comments and starting meaningful conversations. I'll be the first one to admit, though, this can be tough, especially when you're receiving a lot of comments and you don't want to sound like a broken record, constantly saying, "Thank you, it's great to hear it, I'm glad you agree," and so on. Ideally, you want to be a conversation starter in any circumstance, and ChatGPT can definitely help with this. You can ask for a list of generic responses to comments, frequently asked questions, or your own questions to chat to your followers a little bit more. All of it can still sound personalized and authentic, provided that you give ChatGPT enough context. And I've always kept a list of different responses for different types of comments, simply because I'm I'm sometimes lost for words and feel too repetitive in my answers. Now, not only can I prompt ChatGPT for more options that are written in my tone and style, that's crucial, but also ask it to organize my list according to different categories. And these can be words of encouragement, these can be high energy responses, it can be engaging questions, expressing gratitude. You get the gist. Having a list like this handy means that your engagement routine can be done much quicker every day. And again, something that I have to emphasize here is that this should not be used to generate dozens of generic and authentic comments to then spam across different platforms with no thought behind it. Engagement for the sake of engagement or some sort of a boost in potential visibility is not the way to go. The core of your presence online should always be about building genuine relationships, and that requires effort and reflection on your part. If you're on another creator's profile, leaving a comment under their latest post, read the caption, see how you can relate, share your insights genuinely, and use the bits from your list if need be, so you're not always saying, "Love this, thank you for sharing." Just like with everything, AI can be used to help save time, support your workflows, and improve what you do, or promote mediocrity and robotize. Ultimately, the responsibility is ours to use it in a smart and ethical way. Point number 4, replies, pitches, brand deals, and emails. As someone with quite a chaotic mind that's very easily distracted, I find replying to emails quite tedious, especially since I get a lot of them. It takes time to craft friendly and professional personalized emails or replies, and more often than not, I struggle with this part. Well, luckily, ChatGPT comes to the rescue, and I found it's actually brilliant at this. When I get an email with an offer that I'm not interested in, I want to reply politely and reject the offer in a professional manner. Instead of investing myself emotionally, which I still tend to do for some reason, I can simply copy the contents of the email, omitting any personal or identifiable data points like names, company names, places, etc. And I then paste it into ChatGPT, prompting it to create a reply. Just like before, I can provide more context on my part and specify what should be included in the email. Another cool use for ChatGPT here is drafting pitch emails when reaching out for collaborations or trying to secure brand deals. Given that these types of messages are usually quite hard for people to write, ChatGPT is definitely a savior here. I feel like it's a great idea to use ChatGPT for things that we don't enjoy doing, like replying to emails, because there are usually points of friction in our routines and systems that can be smoothed out with AI. As long as you keep learning and testing its capabilities, do your due diligence, and put your own spin on everything it generates, ChatGPT can be a tool that frees up a ton of your time for you. I know there's a lot of hesitation and concerns around AI, and it's not without its problems, definitely, but I strongly believe that it's there to stay, and those who are open to discovering and experimenting with how to use AI in their business will be the ones who thrive in the years to come. But I'm curious to hear what you think of AI. Are you excited about the future innovations and how they're going to transform our workflows? Or are you a skeptic and would rather stay away from the potential risks? Let me know down below. I'd love to know, since it's such a huge topic right now. Now, to use ChatGPT effectively for content creation, you need to have a clear goal and a plan of action. And I'm confident this video right here will help you build a strong strategy that works. Go ahead and watch it now. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you've enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this from me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you next time.